Okay, here are the answers for the quiz. Sample mean, again, always try it on your own. It's just good practice for the upcoming final exam, which is going to be significantly harder than what you guys have encountered in the previous exam for the simple reason that it's written and you're not going to have access to the notes, so you need to practice. It's a test to see what you've actually learned instead of just my feeding you the information. So to get ready for that, try these as always on your own. You're practicing really for the final exam. So mean score, sample mean, just add them up, divide by the total number, you should get that. Median means as many above as below, so when you order this left to right from lowest to highest, you're going to find that there's two in between, right? Because it's an even number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you take the two in between and you add them up and divide by 2. So that would be basically 40 and 50. The middle of that is 45. What's the difference between a mean and a median? Mean is just you add them all up and you divide. Median is as many above as below, middle number. This is from the book. So for those, remember I give you this quiz guidance for how to do this in one of the previous lectures, lecture 16, I believe. This is basically the preparation for the quiz. So in the book, there's some practice exercises for you to do, and this is just an expanded formulation of that. You can look at the book first and then see how to do that. You don't need to compute this, you just have to give how it works. Um, why would the sample mean and sample to standard deviation differ? Because samples can occur anywhere in the distribution and they might be far from the national norm. Suppose the sample mean and sample standard deviation, suppose we're talking about test values here, and then suppose they randomly pick one school and they find that the scores are off the charts. Well, the problem is the reason that can happen, they can differ so greatly from the national norms is because the school you chose is, let's say, a special school for gifted kids, right? The best of the best. So, or it could be that if you ever seen the movie, it's a great movie, Stand and Deliver. There were these inner city kids who were taught calculus. They took the AP exam. They scored off the charts. And instead of saying, "Hey, good for you," what happened was people didn't believe that because it was so far from the national, not just so far from the national norm in terms of being exceedingly good, but for the place he was at, it was unheard of. So they suspected they were cheating. It's a great story, true story. Check out the movie. It's a classic. Stand and Deliver. Anyway, do sample scores in the what we have here indicate approximately a normal distribution within that sample? In this case, yes. Why? Because take a look. It's roughly distributed from low to high. It's not clustered on one side or the other. When you order it 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 90, it's roughly bell-like, very roughly. So it's roughly normal. That's what normal means, roughly bell-like. That's what I'm doing with the cursor here, yeah, bell-like. Okay, expected number is just p times n. Theoretical mean is the same in this case. The standard deviation is square root of 1 minus p times n. And how probable was it that they got this? This is the really tricky question. It's putting together this information. So the average is going to be 2,000. So you're asking plus or minus what? 80, right? 2,000 plus 80 and minus 80 is 1920 and 2080. So what sigma is that? Well, 1 sigma is 40. 2 sigma is 2 times that, so plus or minus 80. So what corresponds with that probable result? Well, what corresponds with 1 sigma? How likely is it that you get something between 2,000 plus or minus 40? Remember the bell curve, 1 sigma is 68%. 68% of cases fall within 2,000 plus or minus 40. So how probable to get this result, which is 2,000 plus or minus 80, 2 sigma? The 2 sigma level corresponds with 95. You got to hammer this home in your head. 2 sigma, 95%. 3 sigma, 99%. Okay, that's it for the quiz. Just keep practicing.